Hello, Algebra 2 students. For Mr. Fry, I'm looking at this systems of equations, word problems. Today's the 14th. It's not due until the 18th Friday, so if any of you are getting a head start and wanting to get things done, I have the odd ones done here for you. You're going to do the even ones the same way you're doing the odd ones, and if you look hard enough out there, you'll find the answers to these, but how you get those answers, I'm here to help with that. So number one, Kristen spent $131 on shirts. Fancy shirts cost $28 and plain shirts cost $15. If she bought a total of seven shirts, then how many of each kind did she buy? Well, we can make two equations here. I'm setting X for my fancy shirts in 28, okay? And I'm setting Y to be representing my plain shirts, and here 15. So 28 times something plus 15 times some number of the plain shirts is going to equal $131, it said. Plus, just some number of fancy shirts plus some number of plain shirts is going to equal 7 shirts. So I'm using the substitute method. And you could use elimination, but I'm using substitute, just seemed to be easier. So I think I used substitute for all of these. Yes, I did. So I just rearranged this to get X by itself on one side, and I have X equals 7 minus Y. I just subtracted Y from both sides. And then I plug in my, my new X value to that first problem, and I have 28 times 7 minus Y plus 15y equals that 131. And then I just use the distributive property, and I end up putting my y's together here, combining like terms, isolating the variable. I get y equals 5. I'm going to put this into the easier problem now, and the 5 into the y place, and so I have x plus 5 equals 7. If I subtract 5 from both sides, I get x equals 2. So I have 5 plain and 2 fancy shirts. That's how you get that answer. Hopefully you're slowing this down because I'm going through it rather quickly, just because of download time and all that. Number 3. A farmhouse shelters 10 animals. Some are pigs and some are ducks. Altogether, there are 36 legs. How many of each animal are there? Okay, so we have, I'm going to call the pigs X, I'm going to call the ducks Y, okay? So we have X plus Y equals 10, okay? We have some number of pigs, some number of ducks, equaling the 10 animals. Now, pigs have 4 legs, and ducks have 2 legs. So these are the legs, plus these legs are going to equal 36 legs, right? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and change this X to equal 10 minus Y. I just subtract Y from both sides. I plug this in for my value for X in this equation, and I just work the problem out. I end up getting y equals 2. And you can see how I worked it out using the distributive property and combining like terms and all that good stuff. And then I plug in that 2 into that other problem just because it's an easier problem to work with. And I have x plus 2 equals 10. I subtract 2 from both sides. I get x equals 8, so I have 8 pigs. So there's your 2 ducks and your 8 pigs for that problem. For number 5, a farmhouse shelters 11 animals. Some are goats and some are ducks. Altogether, there are 34 legs. Sounds like the last one we did. How many of each animal are there? Well, I set up, how many animals there are, and then the goats have 4 legs, the ducks have 2 legs, okay? I solve for x, and then I substitute this value in for x, and I end up working the problem out, distributive property, combining like terms, and I get y equals 5. That ends up being my ducks. I plug that value in for y in the other problem, and x plus 5 equals 11. I subtract 5 from both sides, and I get 6 goats. Number 7. At Elissa's Printing Company LLC, there are two kinds of printing presses. Model A, which can print 70 books per day, and Model B, which can print 55 books per day. The company owns 14 total printing presses, and this allows them to print 905 books per day. How many of each type of press do they have? So I just kept A and B. So that makes, you got printer A, printer B. I already have a couple letters. Instead of changing them to X, Y, might as well use A and B. Now, the A prints 70 a day, and the B prints 50 a day. Altogether, both of them are going to equal 905 books a day. And then there are, so many A, so many B that equal 14 altogether. So I'm going to solve for A, and A equals 14 minus B. I just subtracted B from both sides. I then plug that value in for A in the original problem, and I end up getting this problem that I've worked out here. As you can see, I used the distributive property, and then I combined like terms, then I isolated the variable on one side, and I got B equals 5. So there's 5 of those B printing Model Bs. And then I plugged 5 in for this equation. A plus 5 equals 14. 14 minus 5 gives me 9. So I have 9 of the type A or Model A printing presses. All the other ones are going to be very similar. If you need more help than that, make sure you're zooming in to me. Use the Math Office Hours Google Classroom. The Zoom link is in there.